Welcome to episode 12 of the Tailgate Sports Podcast. A lot happened in week 8. We're going to go over our week 8 takeaways and then give our week 9 picks. Starting off with that Thursday night game, Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp are back, and this is the Rams offense that we expected to see coming into the season. They have Puka Nacua, Cooper Kupp, and Kyren Williams. 3 absolute offensive animals. This offense looked consistent, efficient. This is the offense we expected. This is an offense that can compete. The defense on this team, yes, it still struggles, but they have some players that have been standouts, and they have been actually performing pretty well. This team, I think if they got everyone together a little sooner, I think I would have said this team is still a playoff team. Could maybe get a playoff win. It's not looking as much that way. I still think it is possible, but this offense looked great. Definitely something you want to see as a Rams fan. I know there's trade discussions with Cooper Kupp and Matthew Stafford, but I don't think Sean McVay has any plans of letting that happen. He loves this squad. They compete at a high level all together. When they are all healthy, this team looks like a real competitive team. I don't see any of these guys really getting moved this season, if even next season as well. I think maybe they add a few defensive guys. This team's a really good team, underrated. I want to see what happens. Jameis Winston, first game as a starting for the Browns, and he takes out the Ravens. Coming into this match as underdogs, Jameis Winston, people have been saying all season that if Jameis Winston was starting, that the Browns would be winning games, and that Deshaun Watson has been holding this team back. And that kind of showed this Sunday. Jameis Winston having a 65 completion percentage, 334 yards, 3 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. He looked awesome out there, super comfortable. This is the guy who was rallying the team together before every game, and now he's finally going out there and starting. This team likes each other. They have a good defense. The offense, I know they got rid of Amari Cooper. They would have been even better, but this offense is moving fluently. I like what we're seeing out of this team, and Jameis Winston showing that Deshaun Watson definitely was holding this team back. If this continues, I'm not really sure what's going to happen. If Jameis Winston continues to have a great season, putting up these kind of numbers or even close to it, and they're winning games, I'm not really sure about playoff chances anymore. The beginning of the season really left them in a hole. But if they at least are winning games, if Jameis Winston is looking as good as he did this Sunday, what happens next year with Deshaun Watson? He might not even come back after this. If he does, he's not going to be the same. He was terrible to begin with. So what will they do if Jameis Winston keeps doing what he's doing? Obviously, most of America would agree to stick with Jameis Winston, but this organization has just proved over and over and over again that they are incompetent and they just don't know how to run the organization. Deshaun Watson coming into the contract, people did not like this guy. He took time off, comes in and was horrible. Then this season, beginning of the season, then last season, another guy comes in and does so much better than you at your job, takes him to the playoffs, an older quarterback. Then this season you come in, you're horrible, and they still refuse to sit this guy. I don't know what's going to happen next season if Deshaun Watson comes back or if they stick with Jameis Winston. I would expect if he continues playing how he is, they should stick with him, but who knows with this organization. The Jets season is over, losing to the Patriots. Everyone thought, they would have a burst of life, including myself, that they'd have a burst of life after Diontae Adams comes to this organization. And they just have looked like the same old Jets. This team is not good. Their playoff chances are done. I don't care what this organization pulls. I'm not going to believe it. Neither should you. I don't care who they bring in, who they fire, who they hire. This team, I'm fully out on them. But the Patriots, on the other hand, looking like Drake May is a good quarterback. That is something you're ecstatic to see as a Patriots fan. I don't understand how this team could have the best quarterback in the league for 20 years and then they get blessed with only like 2 years of rebuilding. That's annoying, especially being a Bills fan in the AFC East. That's not something I want to see. Baker Mayfield looks incredible even after all of his weapons get injured. He's involving Bucky Irving in the passing game, Rachaad White. He's involving all these other guys. Everybody is involved, and he looked phenomenal. He had a 74 completion percentage, 330 yards, 3 touchdowns. He looked great, and if he continues to perform how he is performing even after losing everybody, definitely has to be in an MVP conversation. Of course, they still have to win games, which is going to be hard. But Baker Mayfield has looked incredible throughout the year. And even after just losing both of his main weapons, he continues to look great. I'm completely out on this team really making a push into the playoffs. I don't think they have that. I don't think he's going to be able to elevate that team that much because of the defense, and the defense is not really that good, and the offense was carrying them so much to keep them winning these games. And I know he just came in without his weapons and performed at a high level. I just don't think it's consistently going to be able to carry this whole entire team to win games. The defense needs to be better. I don't think they are really a contender. I think if Chris Godwin and Mike Evans both didn't get injured, I would say that they are contenders, but because of both of them are injured, the defense isn't that good. I just don't see them still being in that tier. I do think if Baker Mayfield continues to play how he's playing, especially without his guys, he has to be in the MVP conversation. He's winning games and putting up great numbers, and especially after losing his 2 guys, showing that he is the guy, he is the offense, and he could do it with anybody. That is incredible. Baker Mayfield, you have to give him his props, and you have to sneak him into the conversation if this continues. The Bills, since adding Amari Cooper, they are back to being contenders. Amari Cooper, even though he didn't have a great game this Sunday, he opens up the field so much. Khalil Shakir and Keon Coleman, since the addition, have been out of this world. Keon Coleman having a big burst of energy, having a little bit of a breakout. This team looks incredible on both ends of the ball. The defense have been great. The injuries, the people are coming back, and I think this team, you have to put them back into a contender position. I don't really think the AFC is that competitive right now. I don't think there's clear cut 1-2. I think, the Ravens look good, but their schedule's a little, they have the losses on their record already. The Chiefs, I know they're undefeated, but they have not looked insane. I know people talk about the Texans, but they have their issues. The Bills, to me, are still contenders. I'm going to still continue to put them in the contender tier. Adding Amari Cooper was incredible for this team. Russell Wilson continues to look great, getting another win, and his passing game has been unbelievable. He just had another game with 278 yards, a touchdown, 71% completion percentage. And Justin Fields, I know he was winning as well, but he was not putting up these kind of numbers. If you see them on the sidelines together, Russ is talking him through things. He's learning. I think this is ultimately the best move. Keep Russell Wilson in. They are winning. Justin Fields can learn more, and this ultimately gives them the best chance to win, to compete. This team with Russell Wilson is looking like a real deal and looking like a team that could go into the playoffs as it stands right now and win a playoff game. The defense is great. With Russell Wilson at QB, the offense has looked super efficient. The run game is starting to get going. He just kind of shot life into this offense, and now this team really looks like they are legit. Before, they had the winning record, but people still were not taking them serious, and now I think you have to. Russell Wilson, I think if Mike Tomlin doesn't decide to go with him moving forward, is not the best decision for the organization. I know you want to go with the younger guy, but when you are playing winning football while putting up a great offensive stats and a great offensive game, you have to go with that guy. Justin Fields, he could sit back. He could learn. We saw them on the sideline. They were talking things through. This could be good for him in the long run. I think you have to stay with Russell Wilson here. Stephon Diggs out for the season with an ACL tear. Nico Collins is still out for another week at least, and who knows what happens after that. Now Tank Dell is the one there. This team has not really been too impressive to me. I know they're winning games, but they're all super close, even against the bad teams. They're all really tight scores. And CJ Stroud, yeah, he's been playing great. The defense has been okay. They've been an okay team. They're winning games, but they're close. And having Stephon Diggs out now and having Nico Collins, we're not sure if when he's returning. And Tank Dell, he's a great receiver, but I don't think this offense is going to be the same. Not even close. I think it's going to take a huge hit. And I think this is definitely something to fear if you're a Houston fan. I don't know if I'd consider them Super Bowl contenders anymore, especially, I know last year they had a great season, but this was their move, coming in, grabbing another guy on offense. They wanted to be juggernauts, and they looked great, but Nico Collins went out. They still continued to do their thing. Then now Stephon Diggs going out. They weren't winning these games by large margins, and losing these guys consecutively, it's only going to continue to hit them, and we're going to see regression. I do think the Houston Texans still are a great team. They will be with CJ Stroud, but I'm not going to continue putting them into a contender position or contender conversation. Diontae Johnson traded to the Ravens. The Ravens finally going out and getting more weapons, more receiving weapons for Lamar Jackson. Lamar is having the best passing year he's ever had in his whole entire career. Even he has MVPs and he hasn't passed this good ever. And now adding another wide receiver who has proven to be a great piece on offense. This is great for them. They already had the number one offense. Now this is going to clear up the field even more. I know if you're a Diontae Johnson fantasy owner, you are ecstatic because he has been so inconsistent with that Panthers team. He has shown he could be that guy. Now, having a real quarterback, this is going to be great. The Ravens still have problems on the defensive end. They need a cornerback. They need a better secondary. People are throwing on this team and tearing them up. That they're going to continuously be able to keep up with the score, yes, but you still need to be able to create stops. I still think they should go out, figure out a move at that position. I think as Xavier Howard's still there. There are still moves to be made. So I am curious to see what happens there, but this offense is going to continue to be the best offense in the NFL this year. Those are all our NFL Week 8 takeaways. We're going to head right on over to our picks. Let me just pull them up here. NFL Week 9 picks. Starting off with the Texans and the Jets. I'm going to go with the Texans here despite the injuries. I'm going with the Texans. The Saints and the Panthers. I'm going to go with the Saints here. Commanders and Giants. Give me the Commanders. They have been great. Dolphins and Bills. Tua's back, but the Bills dominated them in the first game. They're going to dominate them in the second. Chargers and Browns. I'm going to go with the Chargers here, despite Jameis Winston looking great on the Browns. Patriots and Titans. I'm going to go with the Patriots here, honestly. Cowboys and Falcons. This is going to be a close matchup, but I think the Cowboys really need to have a bounce back here. Give me the Cowboys. The Raiders and the Bengals. The Bengals need these wins. The offense has been looking great. Give me the Bengals. Ravens and the Broncos and the Ravens. I'm going with the Ravens. The offense has looked great. I know the Broncos defense is good, but I think the Ravens are going to still get the win. Bears and Cardinals. I'm going to go with the Cardinals here. Jaguars and the... I'm sorry. Jags and Eagles. I'm going with the Eagles here. Rams and Seahawks division matchup. The Rams looked great on Thursday. I'm going with the Rams here. Lions and Packers, another division matchup. I'm going to go with the Packers here. Colts and Vikings. I'm going to go with the Vikings. Buccaneers and Chiefs. I got to go with the Chiefs here. Those are our NFL Week 9 picks. That's really it for this episode. We'll talk a little more about the NBA next episode, so tune in for that. Have a wonderful week, and tune in next week for episode 13.